Yo, what's good, people? We back. Had to come through on this one because I'm seeing a couple of things about this in the news, especially after the women's basketball. They just did crazy numbers, and so transgenders in sports. Like, listen, all right, let's we're gonna make it clear. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it clear and say it one time. Transgender men, transgender women should not be allowed to participate in men and women's sports. Transgender men and transgender women need to compete in the transgender league. They need their own league. That's the only place where they will compete against people like them. Putting on a wig and putting on lipstick and whatever you do aesthetically, for doing that does not make you equal to a woman in no way, shape, or form. Not no way, shape, or form. Especially not to compete in sports. So I'm seeing this in the NCAA. The NAIA just made it, has a policy of banning transgenders in sports, which I applaud them on. Which I completely applaud them on. Having the cojones to step up and stand down, because transgenders in sports is one of the biggest abominations into sports. It's just as bad as magnetic rims. I don't know why people can't remove their feelings, their personal feelings, when it comes to this, because it is not about your personal feelings. What about the personal feelings of the girl that lost her jaw because she's competing against a boy? You know what I'm saying? What about that? What about the girl that got her spine shifted because she was wrestling against a boy? You get what I'm saying? That shit is totally egregious. I would never ever try to take a little boy to compete in the nail doing contest. I would never try to campaign for this little boy. This little boy does nails better than all these girls. He does nails better than all y'all, so he should be in the competition. No. What he should do is start his own thing and be a pioneer in what he does. But you see, that whole transgender thing, they're not trying to do their own thing. They're trying to take and steal from you, who deserves it. That's why we ride on that. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, if you wanted to be a trailblazer, you want to be first, do your thing. Nobody's against you. You want to be you want to be a transgender, but you want to go out on the court every day. You got to put up 300 shots from every spot. Listen, we will applaud you, but you got to go find 9 other transgenders to compete with. I'm sorry, you cannot join the men's game, because the men will be throwing elbows, and we cannot be throwing elbows and you say you get hit with an elbow and you expect to be treated like a girl when you're a man. Throwing off the psyche of competition. A woman, you should not be able to compete in the NBA if you're not a woman, like transgender women, because that's what the former WNBA player said. There's no way in hell a transgender player should be in the WNBA. Yes, I totally agree. Totally. That's why I've been skeptical of Brittany Griner, and I've been haven't been one to speak up for Brittany Griner, because of the fact that, listen, Brittany Griner, there are some questions. You know what I'm saying? There are some questions about your origins. And if you see this policy right here put in place in 2010. In 2010, all of a sudden, 2010 we get a black president. 08, but 2010 we got a black president, and that's when y'all want to come with trainings in sports. Wow. So, with this right here, you have to do a year of testosterone suppression, and then you have to be doctored. Then you have to go get your testosterone tested, and then for a year, you got to do a year of that to be eligible for college. None of that is going to make you a woman. What is wrong with this shit? Why are you disrespecting Charles Darwin, George Washington Carver, all that? It don't even matter about race. And you know, you like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because a year of testosterone suppression means that you guys are legalized, that you have legalized tampering with people's biology. Like, it's like you have legalized this shit. It's in policy now that you have to take testosterone suppression. You could suppress somebody's testosterone all you want. That is not going to make them a woman. Like, where do they come up with these laws and these thoughts? Because that's why you see 14 years later and you look at the world that we're in right now and you see that, yo, listen, everybody that's walking is not a human being because they're doing some weird ass freaky shit. You know what I'm saying? Going on, like, what is wrong with you? That's why I wish I was out in the 60s. They didn't do none of this. They didn't even perm their hair. Like, it was like, it was straight up, it was raw. Now, transgenders in the WNBA, I already said a couple videos ago what the WNBA could do to improve their game. Because in the WNBA, there are a lot of grown women who rely on, you know, it's a professional league, so they rely on, you know, getting paid from the league. So there are a lot of, you know, heavier, more muscular, stockier women in the WNBA. To me, that should only up the level of competition. But to me, it kind of seems to lower the level of competition. Why? Because they're not men. You know what I'm saying? So the WNBA has to be kept more nimble. Has to be more nimble. Has to be a faster paced game. Transgenders, I'm sorry, you know, that doesn't fit you. You know, so we just have to be honest, man. If we all just be honest, there's no need to discuss any of this. It's 2024, so everybody needs something to talk about. So that's what it is, man. You know, there should never be a transgender in men and women's sports. Men and women should not be in transgender sports. So I'm gonna go and get out of here, man. I'm out. Salute.